What's going on? Alex here, and today I'm answering your questions from the YouTube comments. That's right. You ask questions, I answer them. It's a beautiful thing. Now, before I get to that, I just wanted to thank you guys for getting this channel to 1,000 subscribers, okay? It's a milestone on the path to making the channel even bigger, but I did want to mention that I do appreciate you guys liking the videos, adding your comments, subscribing to the channel, and all that good stuff. I really appreciate it, and there's going to be a lot more good stuff coming. So thank you so much for your support. And with that, we are going to take a look at this question. And this question was a comment that was posted to the video that I made about being a CPA, what the career looks like, is it worth it, what's the return on investment, all these great questions. So I made a rather lengthy video, which I will link in the comments below. And then Eugene had asked the follow-up question, which we're going to take a look at right now. And that question goes as follows. Great video. Thank you so much. Like you, I recently took a financial accounting class just for the hell of it. Much to my surprise, I enjoyed it, and I'm now considering a career in accounting. The only problem is I am 32 years old, and I'll be 35 by the time I graduate. Many have shared that older applicants aren't usually successful in finding employment in accounting. In your experience, do you find this to be true? Thank you in advance. Thank you for your question. Here's the thing. You're always going to find naysayers who are going to try to talk down whatever you're looking to accomplish in life. And some of these people have an outdated thought process when it comes to a typical career track, and others just have a mentality where they like to focus on the negatives and be held down by the possible downsides of doing something as opposed to going for a goal and achieving it. Because at the end of the day, fear works both ways, right? It could stop you from doing something you don't like, but it could stop you from doing something you really want to achieve. And I try to stay away from that attitude. I view that as a defeatist attitude. If someone says, well, because you have X condition in your life, you can't achieve Y. I don't really go by that line of thinking. I know that it's prevalent. I know that it's probably been more common in the past than it is now with technology and everything moving so quickly now. Things are less rigid than they were. And one of those things that has changed over time is that idea that you get out of school and you're going to work for a company for 35 years and that's going to be your career. You're going to devote yourself to them. And then when you retire, you're going to have a pension and everything's going to be rosy and it's the American dream, white picket fence and all that. That's changed over time. And you're seeing now that employees are working for particular employers for a shorter period of time. They're moving around more. And I think the opportunities right now for mobility in terms of career path, in terms of area in which you work, is greater than it's ever been. Part of the reason is that education information is so readily available. But aside from that, I think that culture has shifted over time to allow for more changes in this regard. So whenever I consider age in terms of whether or not someone should do something, one example that I really like to think about is Jim Simons. And if you're familiar with finance and hedge funds and things like that, then Jim Simons is a legendary name for you. And this is someone who stands at some of the top levels of finance. If you're not familiar with finance, you probably never heard of Jim Simons, but you can see his Wikipedia page right here. Essentially, he was a mathematician. He was a code breaker for the government. I mean, this guy is a genius. He did a lot of mathematical modeling, and he achieved things that were at the very highest levels of the areas in which he worked. But what he's probably most known for is founding Renaissance Technologies, which is his quantitative hedge fund. And the returns on this fund are some of the most astronomical returns. I mean, you can read it on this page that any financier can hope to achieve. And he's done it for many years in a row. So the track record of Renaissance Technologies is impeccable and it's well documented. So there's really no debate that this guy is the real deal. Here's the thing. Renaissance Technologies was founded by James Simons in 1982. And if we look at the year in which he was born, he was born in 1938. So let's do some math. I'm going to pull up a calculator. So essentially, Jim Simons was 44 years old, before he even touched finance. All right. He was an accomplished mathematician, yes. And he made great strides in many other areas, yes. Smart guy. But he didn't get into the stock market until he was 44. And once he got in, he basically changed the game, changed the paradigm with regard to quantitative hedge funds and what is possible. And I always love to think back to this example because, granted, not all of us are James Simons, okay? The guy is a rare breed, but just the fact that we're not all Jim Simons, I don't think negates the fact that it's possible to have much more mobility in terms of your career these days and to make a positive situation out of pretty much anything. So going back to your question, looks like you took a financial class just for the hell of it. That might indicate that you're in a program to get a different degree. So if that's the case, you have to look at it from the perspective of, well, you might end up with an accounting degree or whatever other degree you may be working on. If that's not the case, and you just happen to take a financial accounting class out of nowhere, and that's something you really want to do and you're interested in, you're passionate about, I say go for it. Because while you may not have the big four accounting firms looking to hire you straight out of school when you finish an accounting program, because they're not supposed to discriminate based on age, but I think we all know pretty well that those firms, for the most part, are looking to hire younger individuals who are coming out of school. For the most part. It's not a blanket statement. But that being the case, I still think there's plenty of other opportunities out there. There's nothing stopping you from reaching out to existing firms, explaining your value proposition, talking about your skills, and then selling your skill set to land whatever job it is you're looking for in accounting and gaining experience there, eventually going off on your own. All right? When you own your own business, nobody really asks you how old you are, when you started it, this, that, and the other. They just want to know that you have those three letters after your name, you're capable of doing X, Y, Z. Can you help them? And that's where the value proposition comes in. So as long as you are comfortable and capable in selling your skills and getting yourself in front of people and sending out not 3, not dozens, but hundreds of emails if need be, and calling businesses, getting in touch with businesses to see where you might be able to add value. If you're tenacious in that regard and you don't take no for an answer, then your chances of success are going to be a lot higher than someone who gets down in the dumps over hearing the word no once and it ruins the rest of their day. All right, you have to have that abundance mindset in that if you are looking to achieve a goal, you have to be steadfast and unstoppable in your veracity to make it happen. And if you have that mentality, if you have that personality, then the fact that you're 32, 35 is not going to make a difference. Of course, you have to factor in what costs are involved and how much a program might cost in terms of finances, but also in terms of your family situation and all of that. That all needs to be taken into account. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't let just the fact that these numbers are the way they are stop you from doing anything. Because, like I said, our man Jim Simons over here has achieved a lot and entered an area where he was not even familiar with the rules of the game, and he completely rewrote them. And I think that's pretty cool. I always support that type of movement, that type of risk-taking, if you will, and that kind of personality, because that reflects a lot of my personality in that if I want to achieve something, watch out, because I'm going to make it happen one way or the other. All right? So with that, I don't think that this is going to create any problems for you per se, but again, take your situation into account, step back, do an analysis, and make sure that this is the right thing for you. If you're feeling it, if you're getting good vibes, if you're enjoying it, I say keep taking some more classes, make sure this is the right fit for you, and then assess what you're actually going to want to do once you get into accounting. There's such a vast amount of things. There's bookkeeping, accounting, taxes, financial planning, business consultation, valuation, forensic accounting. I mean, people think that accounting is accounting, but there's really a lot of different disciplines that you can get involved in and specialize in and add tremendous amounts of value. So hopefully Eugene, this all adds some color to your question, gives you some guidance moving forward, a bit of clarity in terms of what the future may hold for you. And I wish you all the best. Thank you for the question. If you found this video helpful, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. I love reading your comments. And if it's compelling, I might just answer it in a video. All right. So with that said, hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for watching.